Hello, Andrew.
Long time no see, Haley. This is pretty rare of you to be texting me. Has something happened?
Just the other day you had sent us a New Year's gift, right? I just wanted to let you know how thankful I am for that and to tell you Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And you don't really have to thank me for that. I'm not sure if you heard this from my little brother yet or not, but what I sent you both was the wrong thing entirely. So you really don't have to be thankful for what I sent you now. I'm sorry that I didn't notice anything sooner. I guess that I messed up pretty bad this time.
Oh, no, don't worry. This was very thoughtful of you, and I really appreciate the thought. Recent things like inflation have really been causing prices of everything to go up, and my husband's income is remaining the same. And from what he's told me, he's not even getting a bonus this year. So really, that money you sent us, that check I mean, has really helped us out. We can put it all towards our place and making sure we stay as far out of debt as possible.
As long as you guys weren't upset by that gift I sent you both, then that's good to hear. But are you really sure everything is okay? I'm sure that this coming year things will only become harder for you both, and there will be even more bills to pay.
Oh, we're not in that big of trouble at the moment. It's just that we are really starting to feel the weight of this economy. Sorry about that. You can just forget I ever said anything about our financial situation over here. I'm sure that my husband would get upset if he heard me telling you about his income and such. Andrew, can you please make sure not to bring up any of what I just said with your brother? I'd like this to stay between you and I.
Don't worry, Haley. This is between you and I. But if you guys are ever in any financial trouble, please let me know. I know that my brother isn't really one to want to rely on others for help. It's not that he takes pride in doing everything himself. Rather, he's just a very stubborn person who would rather wait and see what happens instead of taking action.
That's very true. Recently, he's been putting in a lot more time towards studying up on how to save money more efficiently. He's even started to think about getting a second job.
A second job, huh? I wonder if there's anything I can ask for his help with, to pay him an extra couple of bucks each month.
The fact that you're thinking of him that much makes me so happy.
By the way, coming up soon here, you and him are going to be coming out to our parents' house, right?
Wait, about that. I'm sure saying this would only make my husband even more upset with me. But the cost of making our way out there is too high, so I'm not sure. Since it would be both of us coming, in total the plane tickets would cost around $800.
That's a good point. I'm sorry, but I wish I could make it all the way out there and give you a ride in my car. But my kids are getting older now, and I need to be with my wife to take care of them.
Oh, you don't have to say you're sorry for something like that. But since we're not going to be able to make it back this time around, can you tell your mom that we're both really sorry? I know that I should be there helping your mom out with all the cooking and cleaning during that weekend.
You don't have to worry about all of that, since I know my mom has it handled. She'll be able to handle my dad with some of the cooking as well. And I'll have my wife around during that time. She'll be able to help with the chores and such.
As long as everyone is okay with pitching in like that.
That's right. You only just got married last year, so this wouldn't be your first big event with my family, right? I'm sure you have been worried about a lot of things regarding my family.
That's right. But I really do want to be there, because I feel a whole lot more anxious by not being able to come and see your parents than having the ability to. I sort of feel like this makes me a really bad wife to your brother and daughter-in-law to your parents.
My mom and dad really don't care if you can't make it out this time. I'm sure they'll be a little sad, but they're not going to hold it against you or anything. And there's always Easter, when my family will be coming back to my parents' house to celebrate. So when that time comes, you both can try to come out and say hi to us.
that sounds good. I'm still really new to your family and everything, but I want to say thank you to all of you guys for how kind you've been towards me.
You really don't have to put that much thought into all of us, especially since you are new to this family.
It's just, I'm a little nervous about everything. Some friends of mine that ended up getting married before me have talked about how they have bad relationships with their in-laws, and so that's got me thinking. What happens if your parents don't like me, or I do something to make them upset? Then what will happen to my marriage with your brother? This has all gotten me a little bit scared thinking about what could happen.
I've heard stories like those before from people.
But so far, I felt very thankful for all of you guys, including you, for being so kind to me with everything.
And from my family and I to you, we are all thankful that you were willing to marry my little brother and make him a very happy guy. I'm sure that there are some things about my brother that irk you at times, but overall, he's a very kind man and is very lucky to have you. So please, continue taking good care of him for us.
Will do. I will do everything I can to be an excellent wife for him.
One last thing. When there are times that you and him are in trouble, please do not feel afraid of asking me for help. I can help you both financially if you need. And I think it's a lot easier for you both to come and talk to me about issues rather than my parents.
Thank you so much for telling me that. But of course, I want to make things happen with the money that my husband is bringing in and with nothing else. So we will both do our best to not rely on you for anything money-wise. Good evening, Andrew. Do you have a little bit of time to talk with me right now?
Oh, hi, Haley. We can talk for a little bit. I'm about to start walking home from my office, so I'll be texting you on my walk.
Now that you mention your job, you were able to get yourself a proper office, right?
Yes, that is correct. Before I had just been working from home in an office I set up. But working from home really isn't the most enjoyable thing for me. And I was never able to really focus as much with the kids around and everything. Also, it kind of looks a little unprofessional to some.
It's really amazing that you were able to find an office, though. You've been able to start up your own company, and now you have a building you can call your company's office now, too.
There's nothing really amazing about what I'm doing. I just happen to be lucky enough to get this business going and then find myself a place to lease that isn't all that expensive. Anyhow, what's going on with you, Haley? You wanted to talk with me about something.
Andrew, I'm sorry. But could you find some way to lend us a little money? I'm really sorry for this because before I was just talking about how I didn't want to borrow any money from you. I am so very sorry for this.
No worries. But what ended up happening in this past week?
Actually, when I went and told my parents about how your brother and I wouldn't be able to make it to your parents' house, they told me to come back to their house. And my parents are both very strong people and strict when it comes to things like this.
What? So that's what ended up happening? I'm not really familiar with your family at all, since the last time I saw them was at your wedding. But I thought that your parents looked very calm and relaxed. Not the kind of people who would be so strict about things.
When they go out in front of a bunch of strangers, they tend to hide their true characters. But because of them being so strict with me, there was no way I could tell them we didn't have the money to head to their house. I felt like if I did say anything about my husband and I being a bit tight right now, they would start to complain about it to my husband. I really don't want for something like that to happen.
I understand. I'll make sure to lend you guys however much it costs for that trip out to them.
Are you sure?
Of course. Now, how much will you be needing from me exactly?
I would also like to get my parents some gifts, so Oh, I'm very sorry to say this, but at least $500 would do? How does that sound?
All right, that's fine. I'll send that out to your bank account. So can you please tell me what the account number and routing number are?
Andrew, thank you so much for what you're doing.
We all go through some pretty tough times in our lives. So please don't feel that you need to thank me for this. Also, I wouldn't want your parents to get upset about my brother's situation or anything.
Actually, there is one last thing I'd like to ask you. Can you please make sure not to say anything to your brother about me getting this money from you? He is a bit sensitive, after all, and my husband, so I'm sure he'd be saddened to hear about something like this.
I understand. I won't say anything to him about today. I know that this time you kind of had no choice but to keep my brother out of the loop. But please, the next time you guys need any financial support from me, have my brother get involved as well, so that the three of us can figure something out.
Okay. Of course, I'll be doing my best to make sure we never have to borrow any money from you again. But if there ever is another time we need help, I'll make sure to tell him. Also, I'm planning on getting myself a part-time job here soon. So that should help me with our financial situation here, and I'll be able to pay you back the $500 you lent me.
No, you don't have to, Haley. I'm not a big fan of having to be given anything in return. So let's just keep this a secret from my brother. And consider this some financial support from your brother-in-law and nothing else.
Are you sure about this?
I am. I was always taught by my parents to never ask for anything back in return for helping others, because that help would always come back to me in some way. So please, keep whatever money I give you, and don't bother thinking about repaying any of that money back.
Thank you so much, Andrew. This really helps us out so much.
You can put all that money you make from your part-time job into your place and my brother, all right? And remember that you can always ask for more help from me if need be in the future. If anything else comes up that you can't handle on your own, let me know and I'll see how I can help.
Of course. Thank you very much. Now I'll get to work on sending you the account and routing numbers to my bank account.
Andrew, can I have a chat with you for a second? Yeah, what's on your mind, Marcus? Ah, that's right. You went out fishing for crab today, right? What? Why, do you know about that? How? My son told me he saw you at the pier this morning. You were down there on the rocks grabbing crabs out of the water in a butterfly net, right? Why are you out doing things like that now, Marcus? Are you wanting to live life like things were back in elementary school? You are past going out and fishing for crabs with a cheap butterfly net, right? At least get yourself a boat and go out trapping instead. Also, it's the middle of the winter and a lot of crabs aren't even close to the shore. Too close around those rocks for them, so they won't move up there. I see. That's why I wasn't able to find any today. What's going on with you, man? Did you really need to get yourself some of those crabs today? You get a fish tank or something that you wanted to put them in. No, it's not like that actually. I need some crab for dinner. I saw on YouTube some people were saying that those kind of crab are really good eating, and so I wanted to try to get some myself. I just thought they'd be a good food source. What? You were planning to eat those little crabs? Yeah. I've kind of grown tired of having to eat cup ramen all the time. I was actually really wanting to catch myself some fish for dinner. But my fishing pole is broke and I'd have to pay for some bait on top of that. And most of the fish around here are larger, which requires a nicer fishing rod and line, which would cost even more money naturally. So I was just thinking that I'd go for those smaller crabs and use those for food. Marcus, listen. Are things really that tight for you right now back at home? Yes. There really is not much left. And that was kind of the reason I got in touch with you today. I was wondering if you'd be alright with letting me come out to your place for dinner. Why did you not tell me things were that bad sooner? Had you made all of this a bit more clear to me, I would have sent Haley even more money. What? What are you talking about, Haley, right now? And what do you mean you would have sent her even more money? I'm sorry about that. To tell you the truth, I have been talking with her a little bit, and she's been asking me for some financial help. So I sent her some money. She told me that things have been tough for the both of you money-wise, and that due to inflation, things have gotten more expensive, but your company has done nothing to raise you guys' wages. Also, that you're not getting a bonus this year, right? So she told you about all that stuff? Marcus, please don't get upset with her for doing that. She had already put a lot of thought into things before asking me for help, and I know very well that she didn't want to. Andrew, you have it all wrong. What did I have wrong? I have been getting a raise to compensate for the inflation, and I just got my bonus not too long ago. What? But all of that money has been stolen by Haley. She stole that money from you? What? What do you even mean by that, Marcus? She's your wife, right? Ever since I got married to her, she's been really into this famous singer. And in order to buy all sorts of goods from that person and go to their concerts and events, she's been taking pretty much all my money and leaving me with nothing. I'm going to assume her reason for taking money from you as well is probably because she didn't have enough money from me for something she really wanted. Then, does this mean her story about how you and her will be going to her parents' house soon was a lie? We don't have any plans to go all the way out to her parents' place. She told me that she will be gone for a while to go and follow that singer around while she's on her 2024 tour. Honestly, this is all so messed up. So that's what's been going on. And now she's gone and stolen money from you as well. I'm sorry for what my wife has done to you. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Marcus, are you okay living your life like that? I know that this all isn't okay. I have spoken to her so many times now how poor she is at saving money and not spending it all the time. But I haven't been able to stop her, no matter what I say. Also, when I told her I'd be keeping some of my earnings for myself, she started to tell me she'd go to work as a whore to make extra cash. Huh? I told her not to do anything like that since she's my wife. And what she told me is if I wanted to keep her from selling her body out to other men, I needed to let her have full access to all my money. That was just a little while ago, but I already feel like it's been years now that I've been living with no money because of her. Now I'm having to hear about my wife is causing not only myself issues, but the family as well. I need to punish her for that. Marcus, I'm sorry, Andrew. It's only been a year since we got married, and I didn't want to tell her that I wanted a divorce. Everyone in the family was so happy to see us getting married, and so was Haley, because she was getting to marry me. I don't want to make you feel sorry for me for what a divorce would cost to this family. I'm so sorry. But I have no other choice now, do I?
Andrew, I hope you've been having yourself a good winter.
Hello, Haley. And I hope the same for you as well.
Andrew. I know it's not even been that long yet since the last time I asked, but do you think you can send me $300, please?
Can you tell me why you need this money?
Actually, I ended up losing my plane ticket to get back home.
Is that so?
I'm very sorry to have to ask this of you, but could you please get that money into my account before the end of the day? You can just send the money right into my bank account like last time, so there won't be any issues, right?
I'm sorry, but no can do. It's a Sunday, and my bank isn't able to do immediate transfers on Sundays.
Oh, no, then what are we gonna do? Do you happen to use any form of money apps on your phone? Like PayPal or something? Through an app like that, you should be able to send me the money.
Haley, there's really no need for you to come back home.
What?
Please divorce my little brother for me.
Excuse me? Andrew, what are you going on about right now?
Even if you're able to make it back from that singer's New Year tour, there's no place for you to call home here.
Does this mean you heard from my husband about how I'm an obsessive fan?
Yes. You went and lied to me about that one, didn't you?
Andrew, you have it all wrong. I'm just doing my best to support an artist that I really love.
And so what, Haley? You think because you are helping support a singer who's making millions a year, you have the right to take my brother's money he earns and then ask your brother-in-law for more money with some lies? Do you actually think that we are both stupid enough to allow you to continue doing something as unhealthy as that?
But right now is the most important time for that singer.
And they have nothing to do with my little brother and I.
Andrew, my husband said he was totally okay with me being in charge of all the money that he made. I'm sorry, but this is a discussion between him and I, so you should keep your nose out of it.
No, I think I have a right now to talk about what's been going on with you. And you know that, right? I had been giving you my money.
Understood, Andrew. Then I don't need your help anymore. I'll make sure to give you that money back. But from now on, don't you ever preach to me like you know my husband and my situation better than I do.
That's as long as that money comes back to me.
Don't make me repeat myself. I told you I'd give you back your money, so there you go. I don't get why you're so worried about it anyway, when you have your own business and are making so much more money than us. You must be more of a stingy loser than I had thought. I wasn't lying about being in a tight situation, so why are you so upset after helping me out? Just let it all go.
The reason you've been in such a tight situation is all because of you. Marcus hasn't even had the money to buy himself any more food, and so he was having to eat expired cup ramen from years and years ago. And when he started to grow sick of that, he was forced to go out to the ocean and try to catch little crabs to eat.
So that's why he's been looking more and more thin every day.
How the freak are you laughing about that?
Because it's funny. That just goes to show that Marcus is so desperate that he's willing to do anything to keep me around.
So that's how you've been taken advantage of and viewing my brother's kindness, huh? But there's one thing that you've done that not even my kind brother can forgive. When he found out that you had been taking money from me, he could no longer sit back and suffer through your crap.
And what's he going to do about me now that he can't forgive me? Did you know that when I told him I was becoming a prostitute, he started to cry and begged me to stop going out to work? I had already been paid to sleep with like 3 guys by then, and yet he still didn't want to divorce me. Honestly, I can do whatever I want to, and he'll never be able to let me go, right?
Then tell me, are you still able to get a response from my brother at all?
I know he'll answer to me the moment I call or text him. Hold on just 1 sec and I'll show you. I'm sending him a text right now.
Well, Marcus has already decided to divorce you, so I'm not so sure about him responding back. His eyes have finally been opened. And just a second ago, he stood in front of us all, blocking your phone number and all your social media accounts.
Huh? He always reads my texts the moment I send them. I bet he's just sleeping right now. It is a Sunday after all, so he doesn't have to be at work today.
Nope, Right now, my brother is here with us having some crab legs for lunch.
What?
Both him and I are back at our parents' house. I was able to drive all the way back and pick him up from his house, and then take him all the way back with my family to our parents' place.
Well, then you tell him to look at my texts right now.
I told you already, he's blocked you. And as far as that house you and him have been living in, it's all cleaned out now. A lock has been placed on it, and you are no longer able to go inside that house. And all of your things will be picked up tomorrow by the local postal service from that house front porch and sent back to your parents' house.
Huh? Are you being serious right now?
I told you, didn't I? Marcus is getting a divorce from you.
There's no way he is. But because he loves me more than anyone else in the world.
And you've done so much to him and his family that even that intense love he had for you has now been put out. My brother thought that all he had to do was deal with your crap for a little bit and that things would soon fix themselves. But then you went and lied to me and took the money that was meant to help you and Marcus. I think this is for you now, Haley.
Hold on for just 1 minute. Let me talk with my husband right now.
You will be able to talk with him about the divorce in the near future. When we all come over to your parents' house to hold a little discussion. We'll be telling your parents about all that's happened, so don't worry.
Please do not do that. I already told you that both of my parents are very strict people.
And that's another lie of yours, right?
I am not lying to you this time. They make themselves out to be two very kind and forgiving people. But behind their house walls, they will lay their hands on me when I make any mistake that upsets them.
Well now, isn't that scary? But I don't believe you this time. Since you've already lied to me too many times before.
I am being freaking serious, Andrew. My parents are both completely mental, all right?
I am not going to believe a single word you say to me, Haley. That's the kind of person you are talking to now. You went and stabbed your own husband in the back and then proceeded to do the same thing to his family. There is no forgiveness for you anymore.
But Andrew, I do not want to go back to my parents' house. I was finally able to escape from there after marrying your brother. It took me years to find the right man to marry because any man my parents didn't like, they made me break up with right away.
And that has nothing to do with my family.
All right, I understand. I will stop being so obsessive over that singer. And I'll stop using up all of our money to buy their goods and go to their concert.
And you were saying all those things the very first time my brother warned you about your spending problems. Right. I can see that you're still lying to me.
I am being dead serious, all right? Please, Andrew. Find some way to forgive me for everything I've done. And please, just trust what I'm saying to you now.
I have no reason to trust a whore like you anymore. You hurt my brother very badly, both physically and mentally. If you want to keep giving your money away to support that singer, then you do it by yourself. Because my brother is no longer going to be supporting you. After telling Haley what would be happening next, I went and called her parents and told them about what she had been up to, and they were so upset with her that I couldn't even understand half the things they said afterwards before hanging up. But the following day they called back saying that they went out and found Haley at one of the concerts and dragged her to their van to be taken back home. This all happened on live TV actually, as the concert was very large and both Haley's parents could be seen rushing into the crowd to grab her and carry her away. She was so embarrassed by what had happened, she cried and screamed all the way back to her parents' van and all the way back to their home. Her parents doing that actually ended up causing the performance to have to stop for a bit, which would later come with some repercussions, like Haley being banned from future concerts by that singer. I'm sure something like that broke her heart, even more than the fact that she was losing her husband and would be on her own with her parents again. But who's to say? A few days after she was taken home, my brother and my parents all went to her parents' home to talk about the divorce, where they said her face was all bruised up and swollen. I guess Haley wasn't lying when she said her parents were so strict that they'd raise their hands to her. But we didn't comment about any of it, and it seems her parents were not self-conscious about showing everyone what they'd done to their daughter. Having her mental state completely ruined by the last few days' events, Haley ended up complying with Marcus and signed the papers so that he can take them to the courthouse and end this whole thing. After that, I'm not really sure what happened to Haley or where she's living now. What's most likely going to happen from here is that she'll be stuck with her parents for the rest of her life and will never be let out of their house again. As for my brother himself, after the divorce had taken place, he went back to that house of his that he had cleaned out and locked up and got it ready for sale. Since he was kind of in a bad place at the time of the divorce, he asked his work if he could start working remotely and move back to his hometown for a bit. They gave him the go-ahead as long as he is able to fly out to their office at least 3 times a year for the meetings, which was very generous of them. And so, for a couple of weeks, he will be living with my parents at their place, and then he will be getting himself his own house in their neighborhood. I've been making the commute out of my parents' house more often as well, so that I can spend more time with my brother and talk about what all had happened. I also made sure to show him all the things that Haley had said to me about him, in hopes of helping him try to kill the remaining feelings he may have had for her. My brother laughed when I told him that she had only gotten married to him in order to get away from those parents of hers. But Marcus really did love Haley, which makes you really feel bad for the guy when you think about what all had happened. But he loved her because he thought that she loved him back, and that's why he dealt with her poor spending habits so long. I'm sure it's not going to be easy for him to forget all about Haley, but I just hope he can keep on smiling, and soon enough, he'll find his way free. And in order to keep him on the path to both freedom from his feelings for her and happiness in general, I'll be here as his older brother to support him. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.